The road that carries traders looking for fame and fortune also carries travelers on a different path. Mankind's intellectual and spiritual riches, as well as its material ones, have also been born along that well-worn route. The Silk Road may change through the ages, but the human spirit, its driving force, remains constant. The new Silk Road is already generating a new set of legends. The Silk Road passes through the world's most dangerous and inhospitable lands. The 536-kilometer-long section, known as the Duku Road, starts from Kuka in South Xinjiang and runs up to Dushanze in the north, through the Tianshu Mountains. The road is open only 5 months a year. The threat of severe weather, avalanches, landslides, falling rocks keep it closed the rest of the time. This is dangerous work. The men are suspended 20 meters off the ground, relying on a single rope for their safety. Bad weather frequently interrupts the work. Each hole drilled to attach the protective steel netting to the cliff earns the worker 60 yuan each, about 10 US dollars. For these workers, the money is worth the risk. The natural environment at this altitude is challenging, to say the least. Even in the height of summer, the workers need to dress warmly against the cold. Snow closes the road from November to May. The road gang must finish their work before the snows return. They are engaged in a reoccurring annual battle with nature and the environment to keep the way open. Nai is from Thailand. He's working on the biggest project in his life so far, building a Thai Buddhist temple in the heart of China. Nai has built numerous temples in a career spanning 3 decades. He's been working on this one in China for 3 years.
จำไม่ได้เพราะว่าพี่ไม่เคยบันทึกไว้ไงแต่ว่าเยอะมากก็30-40 วัดมั้งนะถ้าจำคร่าวๆนะก็ต้องกับอายุ15 ปีตอนนี้45แล้วทำมา30 ปีแล้วเนาะ
The new temple is close to the oldest and one of the most famous Buddhist temples in China, the White Horse Temple in Luoyang. In 2,000 years of history, the White Horse Temple has been destroyed and rebuilt on numerous occasions. The new temple is part of an ambitious World Buddhist Park. The park will stretch over 200 acres, more than 6 times the size of the White Horse Temple complex. It will showcase Buddhist architecture from around the world. It's estimated that it will take 10 years to complete the whole project. Luoyang, one of China's oldest imperial capitals, is by definition part of the Great Silk Road. The White Horse Temple was founded in 67 AD. It marked the first foothold of this alien religion in China. "12 kilometers south of Luoyang lie the Longmen Grottoes. Largely created between the 5th and 8th century CE, the 2,300 stone stela and over 100,000 statues are one of the great wonders of religious architecture. Buddhism connects Luoyang to Varanasi in India. To this day, the latter is a holy city for a number of different religions. Around 2,500 years ago, the Buddha, Sakyamuni, gave his first sermon here. From that first teaching of the Dharma to his 5 companions, the religion spread up into Central Asia and down along the Silk Road, entering China around 500 years later. The power of the Silk Road spans the millennia, changing lives and changing history. Wuwei is an oasis city of around 1 million people in the heart of Gansu province. In the center of the city stands a Buddhist temple dedicated to the monk scholar Kuramajiva. The abbot of the temple is 41-year-old Li Feng. After study in Sri Lanka, he received a doctorate 6 years ago. Our latter-day monk scholar is run off his feet today. The faithful have gathered at the temple to show support for repairs to its shrine. The temple is the center to the lives of many locals. Kuramajiva was a monk scholar from present-day Kashmir who traveled to China in the 4th century CE. He spent 17 years in Wuwei.
作为鸠摩罗什命名的一个寺院，这是唯一的。在鸠摩罗什之后，这个佛教的思想就改变了，就变成大乘佛教的主要格局了。那么这个菩萨的思想呢，也是由此而带过来。
After Kuramajiva passed away, a stupa was built here for his relics. Profound philosophical thoughts need clear and simple expression. Kuramajiva interpreted the sutras in perfect Chinese becoming a vital link in the translation of Buddhist scripture. Bill Porter, an American religious scholar, also known as Red Pine, is completely at home in China. "20 years ago, Porter published a much-acclaimed book, Road to Heaven: Encounters with Chinese Hermits.
这是因为大概前一辈子我是一个中国人，我大概是一个和尚。
我这个，
这是比尔先生。
我知道，就这样叫比尔可以吗？可以，礼貌吗？可以。
The Fuzhou Temple in Beijing was established 1,400 years ago. It's now the leading institution for Buddhist studies in China. This is Bill Porter's first visit. 7 years ago, he traveled around China to investigate the historical development of Buddhism. Based on that experience, he wrote another bestseller entitled Zen Baggage, in which he visited sites associated with the first 6 patriarchs of Chan or Zen. The success of his earlier book, Road to Heaven, changed his relationship with China. His personal life was also changed by it. During each trip to China, Bill Porter visits his most favorite places. This time, he's looking for a birthday gift for his daughter.
你是文康人吗？是文康人。文康人很会做毛笔。文嫂你怎么知道？我对毛笔比较熟悉。这个20，这个是10块，10块，30差不多81。
Bill Porter is sensitive to everything that's related to China. His thoughts frequently dwell on those hermits in the deep mountains.
在我们这样子，我们一到山里面，没有人会管，都是农夫，很殷实，有殷实有农夫，没有别人。很多美国人喜欢这本书，可是没有中国人那么多。在西雅图最有名的百货公司买。
Meeting the media is part of his busy schedule. The reporters always start by asking about his books. The purpose of this trip is to promote a new book, Yellow River Odyssey. In a few months, he'll be publishing another, The Silk Road. It's based on his experience of traveling 20 years ago.
Bye-bye.
Meanwhile, 1,000 kilometers away, in the Zhongnan mountains of Shanxi, the hermits of the type described in Bill Porter's book are still living that life. Down the centuries, the Zhongnan Mountains have been seen by followers of Buddhism as an ideal hermitage, a shortcut to spirituality. For many contemporary Chinese, this allure remains. "30-year-old Jia Shuwei is one such hermit in the Zhongnan Mountains. In traditional culture, being a hermit means to live a solitary life without fame and fortune. Not an easy task in the modern world. Jia Shuwei became interested in Buddhism as a teenager. After graduating from college, he became a theater director. Long periods of resting from theater work gave him time for contemplation and to examine his commitment to a spiritual life. Leading rehearsals is now just a temporary role in his life plan.
你看他多像公公，要把他受压抑的那一面要展现出来。张力，你就记着你这个角色啊，他满清遗老，没落了，在市井当中还要体现出你们贵族那种身份。哦，咱们今天把他这段词儿重新再梳理一下。
那天啊，我进一泡馍馆吃了一碗。
好，停啊，站定了再说。然后你们俩还是要注意这个多跟观众交流。听说呀，再往出扬一点啊。
Buddhism gave Jia his own understanding of performance.
我们要站在角色的对面去创造角色，而禅是要破除那个我是谁这个问题，可以用西方表演学训练人的手段，去让更多的人更直观地接受到这种特殊的宗教体验。
The play is a comedy, delivered in local Xi'an dialect. They've done over 40 shows already. But lack of funding means the rehearsals can be canceled at any time. For thousands of years, ideas spread along the Silk Road. Time passes, the roads may change, but mankind continually thirsts for spiritual truth. Today's Silk Road sees many who grapple with the inner journey as much as the outer journey. Cappadocia in Turkey is 7,000 kilometers west of the Zhongnan. The area is familiar to many through photographs or film. The area boasts a unique topography, which plays an iconic role in Turkey's tourist industry. Hussein Gulay lives in Cappadocia. His day starts at 4 o'clock each morning. It's physically demanding work, and he works flat out through to 8 o'clock, 4 hours later. After the bakery, it's time to tend his 10 acres of vineyard, another important source of income for his family. Hussein still follows a traditional Cappadocian way of life, living with his family. He has spent almost his entire life in this city. The area contains many ancient wonders, like the underground city of Derinkuyu. The complex has 11 levels of connecting tunnels. The deepest is 85 meters below the surface. Early Christians took refuge here from the persecution of the Roman Empire. Today, the site is more likely to be visited by tourists seeking escape from the summer sun. Christianity finally established itself at the heart of the Roman Empire, leaving its mark on Western culture forever. The Zhongnan Mountains, an ideal refuge for many people, are the birthplace of several schools of Chinese Buddhism. The life of a hermit may sound romantic. In reality, it's decidedly hard work. The distinctive Chinese art of calligraphy is a bridge between past and present. Besides studying Buddhist scripture, Wuwei spends much of his time practicing calligraphy. One of the most important calligraphic works of ancient China can be found in Xi'an. It's a national treasure. It's 1,300 years old, recording the arrival of Nestorian Christianity in China. The three major religions that traveled down the Silk Road from ancient Persia to China were Manichaeism, Zoroastrianism, and Nestorianism. Cappadocia, Turkey. After finishing in the bakery, Hussein can relax and play with his kids. It's the best moment in his day. Hussein is a Sufi, a form of Islam with an ascetic and mystical tradition. It shares some similarities with the Chinese Hermitical culture, in particular, the strengthening of faith through self-denial. At the weekend, Hussein stops being a baker and assumes a new identity. The graceful Sima is a unique Sufi ritual created by Rumi, a poet and mystical philosopher 800 years ago. Sometimes known as whirling dervishes, the dancers are members of the Mevlevi order of Sufism. Their philosophy is one of love and tolerance. To rotate on the spot 25 times a minute without falling over takes a bit of practice. On a wooden board sprinkled with salt, beginners learn the basics over 7 months. Pilgrims swarmed to Konya to visit Rumi's tomb. It was here that Rumi, who had fled up the Silk Road from Persia and the Mongol invasion, composed his religious and poetic works. In the 4th century, as Christianity became the state religion of the Roman Empire, Buddhism began to find favor with China's ruling dynasties as well. 4 a.m. The Bishan Temple, the largest temple at the holy Buddhist site of Mount Wutai. The novice monk, Yi Ju, welcomes his new day. Yi Ju is a recent arrival from northeast China. He was a businessman before choosing a new life. The temple has 100 resident monks and is known for its strictly observed rules. In compliance with ancient tradition, Yi Ju must do everything according to these rules. In today's China, many monks lead this sort of life. In the temple, devotees seek spiritual growth in mundane chores and in the discipline of serving and consuming meals. Now that he's a monk, Yi Ju can no longer haggle over prices. Mutual trust and respect have made life much simpler. For most people, life in the temple is, at best, dull. Few can tolerate it. Yi Ju arrived with 2 fellow initiates a couple of years ago. Neither could take it. Only Yi Ju stayed. In a few days, Yi Ju will lead a prayer ceremony at the temple. For the young monk, it's an important step on his journey of faith. Similarly, in the Zhongnan Mountains, 900 kilometers away, Jia Shuwei is continuing to examine his calling. Today, a friend is due to visit with his whole family. Jia plans to treat them to a special meal. Jia prepares everything himself. It's an unforgettable experience for everyone.
你老妈给你派了一个任务，就是给我送粮食，
有点儿，
像是化缘去啊。
缺什么送什么。
坐公共汽车就来了。
人大的课是半个月，完了我要去唐山。我不是跟国亮法师学中医呢吗？
One must work to earn one's daily keep. Jia Shuwei, cultivating the land, runs in parallel with cultivating his mind. Five kilometers away from the foot of the mountain sits the Caotang Temple, where Kuramajiva translated Buddhist scriptures. 30 kilometers beyond that is the start of the Silk Road at Xi'an. Xi'an, or Chang'an, has been at the heart of Chinese history for over 2,000 years. In 401 CE, Kuramajiva ended his 17 years detention in Wuwei and arrived in the city to continue his translation work. In the 7th century, the Chinese monk scholar Xuanzang set out from Chang'an on his great pilgrimage to India in search of more scriptures. These 2 monks brought about a religious revolution in China, which led to the formation of an authentically Chinese form of Buddhism, Shan, better known in the West as Zen. At Caotang Temple, there is a stupa built 1,000 years ago in commemoration of Kuramajiva. It was here that Kuramajiva translated a total of 97 Buddhist sutras, the most famous of which is the Diamond Sutra. Although containing only 5,780 words, the Diamond Sutra is the most important Buddhist text, underwriting all Buddhist scriptures. Kuramajiva's version is still in circulation today. Kuramajiva's Diamond Sutra is known for its smooth narration, elegant expression, and accurate rendition. The profound ideals of Mahayana Buddhism are conveyed in stories. Kuramajiva's translation work set an industry in train that led to Buddhism becoming embedded in the cultures of East Asia. Over the centuries, Buddhism has left its marks on the Silk Road, from Central Asia to China. It's like an art gallery that stretches over thousands of kilometers and represents some of the most precious heritage that the Silk Road brings to us today. Early in the morning, Zhou Geng and his colleagues examine exposed statues and murals. After thousands of years of weathering, these precious works of art have become extremely fragile. Of the four main Buddhist grottos in China, the Meiji Shan grottos in Tianshu, Gansu have the most spectacular surrounding scenery. But no scenery can match the exquisite art to be found here. The restorers are working in cave number 127. It was first built 1,600 years ago during the Northern Wei period. These are the earliest Buddhist statues in China. Each piece is priceless. The Meiji Shan grottos contain 194 caves, over 7,800 sculptures and carvings, as well as over 1,000 square meters of frescoes. For the maintenance staff, the precious stone statuary is not the most difficult problem. The ancient cave murals are a continual headache. It's 70 meters above the ground. They have to climb up at least twice every day. The ancient murals have a life of their own. Near surgical precision is required for the work. Each day, only a few square centimeters can be restored. Patience and carefulness are the watchwords here.
其实我们这份工作很枯燥乏味，你的心放到里面了以后，你就感觉到里面有很多的乐趣。
When winter comes, the restoration work stops altogether. But little by little, far from the cities, the caves are coming back to life again. Wuwei, the Kuramajiva Temple. Li Feng continues to work on the plan to repair the relic tower.
请过来，我们可以这就比较好几家的人想坐在一块儿，就可以把这个事情初步敲定。你好，你好。那现在我们打开网络，看到你传的名单了，都看到了。那就请你们放心，我们尽快呢，我们现在正在安排，今天下午就要开会，关于这个主要是塔的修建方案，就请政府的领导来确定。那么你们的捐款，我们将会很快全部运于这个罗氏塔的修建啊。 好的，那就这样，祝福你啊！好，再见。
Wuwei lies in the Heshi corridor, through which all roads to the northwest must pass. So Wuwei was among the first Chinese cities to be exposed to Buddhism, and its influence remains strong. In the Kuramajiva Temple, the renovation plan for the stupa is under discussion.
这个是日面，接中间的阶段呢是日面。
我现在呢，我们家的这个大殿已经修在这个地方固定下来，可以不可以我们平行的往后移一下？就是它也是蒙古啊，也属于明朝的建筑啊，非常古老，但它平行的移在我们的寺院后边去。我们就让它举起来，底下哗啦哗啦。
The only ancient monument in the temple, the Kuramajiva Tower, is of immense importance. Maintaining the tower is like maintaining faith, both requiring protection over the generations. Whenever he has a break, Nai looks at pictures of his family. Other than phone calls, this is the only way to ease his homesickness.
มันเป็นโอกาสเป็นทีแรกคือไม่อยากมาเพราะว่าต้องจากบ้านคิดถึงลูกแต่ว่ามันเป็นโอกาสอาจจะเป็นครั้งเดียวในชีวิตมั้งที่ว่ามีโอกาสมาทำที่เมืองจีนไปมันจะอ่อนม่วงไปเรื่อยๆใช่ป่ะเลิกไม่มีเลิกลูก
In the warm afternoon sun, he should be able to relax. But Nai is a worried man. In 3 days, the first prayer ritual will be held at the site. This means construction needs to speed up. The appearance of an unexpected guest cheers everyone up. Due to the language barrier, the Thai craftsmen have little contact with the outside world. The stray dogs around the temple have become their pets. This is the only moment when Nai can set work worries aside.
Wow. นอนสบายเลยนอนสบายเลย
The following day, Nai decides to get up early and pray for help at the White Horse Temple across from the worksite. Nai worships in a Thai Buddhist manner in the Chinese temple. He's praying for the Buddha's blessing so that the project can finish on time and without mishap.
พระก็คือแบบเป็นสิ่งยึดเหนี่ยวอย่างพระที่ห้อยคอเนี่ยเนาะก็คือความหมายของคนไทยคือพระนี่เป็นของที่ต้องบูชาต้องนับถือต้องเทิดทูนพระนะพระกับคนไทยนะ
Back at the site, work continues flat out. The Thai temple is almost complete. Nai just needs to add a few final touches to the paintings in the main hall. Over on the other side of the site, people are preparing for the upcoming ceremony. After a few stressful days, Nai can finally breathe a sigh of relief. For this dedicated artisan, what he has helped to build here will be a lifelong achievement he'll never forget. Buddhism has had a long and complex relationship with China, sometimes a source of political legitimacy, sometimes suppressed as a threat to the authorities, but it has always represented a route to salvation for all peoples. "600 kilometers away, in the Bishan Temple at Mount Wutai, a grand ceremony is about to begin. Leading such an important event for the first time, Yi Ju needs to overcome his nerves. The solemn moment arrives at last. All the monks in the temple gather in the main hall. Their every step follows a 1,000-year-old tradition. It's Yiju's turn at last. The ritual is a complicated one, which takes about 12 months to learn and rehearse. Yiju performs flawlessly. The senior monks approve. On the long road of his spiritual journey, Yiju has taken another important step. The groundbreaking ceremony for Wuwei's Kuramajiva relic tower is about to begin. Months of intensive effort have secured necessary funding for the renovation project. Li Feng can relax now, almost. The stupa has undergone several renovations in its 1,300-year history. It stands tall in the center of the city to symbolize the living heart of this ancient faith. A few months later, in the Zhongnan mountains, Wei finally realizes his dream to become an ordained monk. This means giving up everything in his previously materialistic life. His new Dharma name will be Kayi.
我之前是有家的，有家庭的。佛教经常讲，我们做一个功德就是要放生啊，慈悲观嘛，所以要放生。我跟我以前的爱人我说，你这个功德很大，别人都放小鱼小虾，你把我放生了。
His name may have been changed along with his identity, but his life in the mountains remains the same. Living as a hermit to calm his mind, as opposed to living in a temple, is his chosen spiritual path. Kayi believes that perseverance will bring him closer to his faith.
我的家人似乎也是很支持我走这样一条道路，尤其我的母亲，她老人家很有意思。我出家了以后，她不再叫我俗家的名字，改口管我叫可以法师。
Living alone to face emptiness and solitude requires more than just a strong mind. Kayi thinks that a Buddhist practitioner should also have a basic medical knowledge and the skill to apply it.
信仰是要落实于生活的当下的，它是指导我们生活的，它不可能跟我们的生活有矛盾。
To become a spiritual leader is Master Kayi's greatest wish. He considers this the social responsibility that an ordained monk must take on. It intends a delicate balance between retreat and engagement with the wider world. inauguration of Luoyang's new Thai Buddhist temple is approaching. Thai monks and Zen monks from the White Horse Temple will attend. Nai conducts the final tour of inspection.
พี่มาฝากผลงานไว้ที่นี่พี่กลับไปบ้านพี่จะบอกทุกๆคนเลยนะบอกผมไปฝากเอกลักษณ์ไทยไว้ที่เมืองจีนนะคือมันภูมิใจเนาะมาดีนึงพอแค่นั้นพอใหญ่แล้วยัดลง
One of the last pieces to be installed is a bronze Buddha from Thailand. It represents prosperity. As a devout Buddhist, Nai considers this temple his best work ever. "2,000 years ago, Buddhism spread north and west from India before finally settling in the east, thanks to the Silk Road. The topography of the Silk Road is shaped by nature. The spirit of the Silk Road is shaped by men and women. Today's spiritual missionaries on the Silk Road foretell of its future. Everything they do will resonate, not just within China, but will ring out across the entire world.
我其实觉得自己长得并不漂亮，然后呢灰溜溜的，所以大家都叫我小灰灰。
Wang Siqing from Shandong in China is looking to further advance her career in the modeling business. Thanks to the marvels of modern engineering, she traveled the length of the ancient Silk Road from end to end. Join us for part 6 of the Silk Road. The journey goes on.